Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to change the front brakes on a Kia Rio. So let's get started. Now, in order to complete this project, these are the items that you're going to need. You're going to need some kind of a jack, whether it be the one that came with the vehicle or a hydraulic jack. I prefer the hydraulic, but some kind of a jack to get it off the ground. Jack stand that you can put it on once you get it up in the air. You don't want to just rely on the jack. You're going to need some kind of a breaker bar or an impact wrench, something to get the lug nuts off your vehicle. You're going to need a ratchet with a 14mm socket in order to get the caliper bolts off from the caliper bracket to be able to get to the brake pads. And then obviously you'll need a set of brake pads for both front wheels. This particular set here, I got these at Advanced Auto. I believe it was around $32 or $33. I'll put the amount down at the bottom. But a lot of times if you order online from them, they get discounts. So I believe I got 20% off. So they were originally, I think, $39, and then I got them for whatever it was with the discount. But as I said, I'll put it across the bottom. So these are the items that you will need to complete this. You'll also need, which I don't have shown here, is the lubricating grease for the brake pads also, which you want to lubricate the tracks as well. So that's all the stuff that you'll need to complete this. Now with the wheel taken off, what we have here, this is your rotor, this is your caliper, and then inside the caliper here, these are your brake pads. That's what we're going to be replacing. So the caliper is held on by two, I believe these are 14mm, two 14mm, I'll get a shot here in the back. Two 14mm bolts. You have one up here at the top, and then there's another one down here on the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove these so we can slide this caliper off and access the brake pad so we can change them out. Using a ratchet here with a 14mm socket on it, go ahead and put that on that bolt. There we go. With those bolts off that hold the caliper onto the bracket, now we can slide the caliper out here from the center. Pull that off slowly. Want to be careful for the brake line that's connected, so you don't want it hanging. So some people actually strap these up. I just take it and just set it up like that. But either way, you don't want any strain on that brake line. And then here's your brake pads here. Let's go ahead and definitely in need of changing. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out. These are kind of tight in here. We'll work these out. We'll be right back. These brakes were in there really good. You can see here, these things are down to the wire. Definitely in need of being changed. Let's see this one here. Look at that. And I'll put them up against the new ones so you can see how they should look. Here's the brakes that were taken off versus the new ones. You can see here, huge difference. Look at that compared to that. These things were all the way down to the end. And what actually started raising the concerns that there was an issue with the brakes is you have this metal plate here that had actually come loose. So every time the car, and you have the caliper right here that presses on this side here, the piston of it. So what had happened that it come loose, so occasionally driving you would hear like that. You would hear this thing rattling. So it raised concerns that there was issues with that wheel, and first issue would be to check the brakes, which obviously we did, and that was the problem. So let's go ahead and swap these out and put it back together. I'll line these up in the tracks. Want to go ahead and lubricate it first. I forgot to show that, but after they're lubricated, slide them into tracks. Get them all in position there. nice and solid. Now we're ready to put the caliper back on. However, to do that, you have this piston here that needs to be pressed back down, and I'm going to show you how to do that so we can get that in place, because otherwise it will not slide over these, since these are obviously protruding further out than the old brakes since they were worn down. So let's go ahead and press that down so we can slide it on. Now to show you what I've done, I went ahead and used one of the old brake pads, laid it across the piston here, and then put a large, this is actually a large 6-inch C-clamp. So I've got a clamp down here, and then also on the bottom of the caliper piece right here. So what you're going to do now is, as you tighten it, that's going to then press that down in, and that'll get that piston pushed all the way down, so then we can set it over the brake pads, and then once we get it in, then we'll pump the brakes to get it in place, then bleed the lines, all that. But this is how you're going to push it down. There you can see it. As we went ahead and compressed it, it pushed it down. So now just take the C-clamp off, remove that, and then we're ready to put this over the new brake pads. Just go ahead now and slide that over the new brake pad. You want to make sure right here where the bolt goes through onto the caliper bracket, you'll see that this thing is flexible. You want to make sure you push that all the way in to get clearance on both ends. Slides in place now. So we'll take the 14mm bolts and just slide them in, and then we'll come back and tighten them. Tighten these on. Don't forget to do the bottom one as well. Now once you're done tightening these on, all that's done, you want to go ahead and bleed the line right here. Basically this is your bleeder. Pull this off right there. You can connect that onto a bleeding kit, or put a pan or something to catch the brake fluid. That's a 10mm socket you'll need for that, to loosen that. And then you want to just pump the brakes to bleed the air out. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but that's how you would bleed that. So this video is pretty much coming to an end, so we'll put the tire on and wrap it up. Alright, well that pretty much wraps up this video on how to change out the front brakes on a Kia Rio. I'm going to do the other side, which is pretty much the same process. So that wraps up this video. I hope this video helped you out. Please send any questions, any comments. I would love to hear from you. As always, I appreciate all the support. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time.